In this lesson, we're going to look at sentence equivalence questions where there are only two synonyms in the answer choice. And that sounds like it'd be very easy, right? You just choose the actual synonyms and those must be the answers. Well, as always, the GRE does things to complicate things and muddy the waters. So let's look at this a little bit closer. First, know that this is not just some rare occurrence. About 40% of SE questions have only two synonyms. And as I mentioned, when you see this, the two synonyms must be the correct answers. So what you really want to do here is make sure that you can detect this pattern, because once you've figured out that this pattern's in play, you can go straight to the answers, which is nice. Okay, but you do want to double check to make sure. What do I mean by this? Well, if you think there's synonyms, that there's only one pair of synonyms, is there another pair that's less obvious? Maybe a pair of very hard vocabulary words that you're not sure about are synonyms. Something like that. Advanced vocab, but also sometimes words have multiple definitions, but they're synonyms in context. The context would point to their definitions that overlap. So watch out for that. Do the words that seem to be the only pair fit the meaning? That's another thing to really watch out for, because if it looks like there's only two synonyms but they really don't fit in the blank, then go back to the drawing board, see if there's a different pair. Okay, so with all of that in mind, let's look at this practice question where there are only two synonyms. So pause the video, see if you can get to the answer here, and we'll talk about it. Welcome back. Okay, so the first words you should have hopefully zeroed in on to eliminate are mandatory and conventional. You don't even need to worry about any clues or any indications in the sentence that those might fit in the blank. They can't fit in the blank because those are clearly not synonyms. So next, it looks like maybe we have two pairs of synonyms. You know that we don't, but it almost looks like we do, doesn't it? Because we have rural and remote, we have visible and conspicuous. And you might say, aha, these people are foregoing city life. Rural means not in the city. But not so fast, because remote just means far away from everything, whereas rural means not in the city, but in an area with farmland. But there could be a place completely uninhabited, including no farmland, that's remote. For that matter, you could technically refer to a city that's far away from everything else as remote, because remote just means far away from everything else. So these two were actually pseudo-synonyms, as you've seen lessons on those before. That brings us down to visible and conspicuous. Let's make absolute certain that the clues allow this to fit in. So it says that people of Maasai heritage who are living in these traditional communities are expected to do something. What are they expected to do? Well, they're expected to signal their status within society, and to signal their status by wearing clothing and body adornments. So they're signaling their status by putting something on their body that can be seen so that this signal is received. Well, that would mean that they need to put things on their body that are visible. And conspicuous means the exact same thing as visible in this context, just something that is very easily, clearly seen. So this is correct, and it is the only pair of synonyms. Now, something I really want to emphasize before we end this lesson is that vocabulary and vocabulary knowledge is key. The more you understand vocabulary, whether it's the subtle differences between common words like rural or remote, or the true meanings of these advanced words so you can see whether they're synonyms or not, the better you're going to be at zeroing in on these questions, which happen pretty frequently, where there's just one pair of synonyms and that's the right answer. So study your vocabulary, make sure you're ready for this pattern.